YouTube, what's going on, baby? Junior and the Big Dog. Today we're covering Surge 19 offense. Last time we covered Surge 19 defense. If you guys haven't checked out that video, please do so. We're covering every single player from the 2019 recruiting class, including transfers, with video breakdown. So today we're covering the offense. Let's get to it. What's going on, YouTube? Junior and the Big Dog, baby. Big Dog, what's popping?
Getting ready. Just love this. But by the way, I know you were going to talk about this, but I want to just mention it real quick. For those of you who hadn't seen it before, my son and I, we've always been real close. A few years ago, I moved to Ohio from South Florida. He still lives in South Florida. So doing these podcasts is something that I love to do. I know you do too, and it's amazing. But big thank you to all those that have supported us so far since we started.
Definitely, yeah.
Giving us great feedback, a lot of positive comments, and there's too many of them to mention. We even have a viewer all the way from Botswana in Africa. So actually, I think we might have more than one over there in Africa. But just want to say thank you to everybody for the support that you've given us, for all those great comments, all that great feedback.
Yeah.
And this would be special to me, just the fact that I get to do this with my son, but it's even more special when you get all that positivity coming back at you. And I know you feel the same way.
It makes us feel good. I think I can speak for both of us, man. Like, we enjoy doing this, obviously. So it's not like we're trying to make a buck out of this or trying to turn this into like a career. If it gets to that, then hey, it is what it is, But I mean, we do this for fun, and getting that feedback from you guys, man. It makes us feel great. Honestly, the comments, subscribers, likes, your feedback is what we like, and it makes us better. So. It could be criticisms, it could be compliments, it doesn't matter. But we really do appreciate all of you guys that are supporting us thus far. But today,
so we do want to say always, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give us some, and not just constructive criticism. Tell us stories that you want us to cover, or things that you want to see from us.
Yeah. We've already got a few questions and stuff like that of some of the things, and we're responding to every single comment. I mean, we're trying to, we're staying on top of it. Obviously, our audience is not huge yet, so we do have the ability to do that. But even if it does, get bigger than what we think it might get, we're still gonna engage with every single comment and just bounce ideas off of each other. So definitely, for sure.
Yep.
So Surge 19. I said it in the intro. The last video was about the defense. We're covering every single player with video breakdown. Today we're covering the offense, also with video breakdown. So, I mean, we're really excited about it. So what do you want to get to first, Big Dog?
Let's start it off with the QBs. And obviously we're going to start off with somebody that everybody's talked about and everybody has seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to address, we're going to address some specific things, what makes Tate such an intriguing player. And in a lot of ways, it makes him a very the type of player that you can't really predict what he's going to look like in a Dan Enos offense, because to a certain extent, he relies so much on improvisational ability and on making something out of nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you really can't get a handle unless the quarterback's were live, which obviously you don't want to do in scrimmages because, you don't want to get your QBs hurt. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you have to see him in a game situation before you know what you have.
Right.
So I think that's going to make it really difficult, not just for us as viewers from the outside, but even for Dan Enos and Manny Diaz, because how are they going to know exactly what a Tate Martell run offense is going to look like? Mm-hmm. And we'll go over some of the things here, mm-hmm. And some of the video clips that speak to that. And additionally, we talked about this before. Regardless of who the starting quarterback is, Dan Enos is going to have a Tate Martell package, because this young man he's not just an elite athlete for a quarterback. He's an elite athlete.
Right.
You try to find me a wide receiver or a running back or a DB who's usually your best athletes on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You try to find me one of those that has a sub 4-second short shuttle run.
Mm-hmm.
Tate Martell had a 3.96 on the short shuttle. That's elite level athleticism. So yeah, that's the thing. Regardless of what whoever comes out as a starting quarterback, we will have a Tate Martell package, and with the video clips, you're going to see one of the reasons why.
Yeah. So let's we're gonna have 3 of them here, 3 video clips. The first one we're gonna cover is the run and pitch. So you want to go ahead and jump into that one?
Let's go ahead and jump into. We actually have 4 total.
Oh, we have 4. Oh, that's right. We do have 4. Okay. Yeah, we do have 4.
All right, let's get started. This one, you're going to see him run out to the left, and there you see he runs out to the left. Now watch, he's getting hit. A late option pitch out and picks up another 10 yards almost.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Tate is you see that a lot. If you watch his high school film, and obviously in college, he had that limited stint either against Rutgers or in garbage time or another game or two. Not just in garbage time, though. There was a Tate Martell package that they used even in red zone or when the game was still being decided. So right. That's one of the things that he gives you that is immeasurable. You don't really know how to quantify it because you could see the other quarterbacks. Well, he made this throw. That's a nice throw. He threw this guy open. Oh, what a nice anticipation throw. How do you balance that in what he just did there? That took a 7-yard run into a 15-yard gain. And it was because of that improvisational ability that he has. That's something that is going to give us a different look when we do use that Tate Martell package.
And let's go to the next one so we could see his running ability. You saw a little bit there on the pitch, but here you're going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah, let's go to this. This one is a 47-yard touchdown run. I want you to watch these moves. There you go. Breaks a set of ankles there, then turns on the jets. He has good straight line speed. The actual straight line speed isn't as elite as his other parts of his athleticism.
Right.
But there you see what he can do. One of the runs that we saw in high school, I'm not sure, was that the St. Thomas game? The St. Thomas Aquinas game? Yeah, he did this run that was like ridiculous. It was, he rolled out to his right and he got pressured and then he turned back to his left. I mean, it was a thing to see. He ended up getting the first down, but he probably ran 150 yards in order to get the 10 or 12-yard gain.
Right.
And it really saved the game for him. That continued, Bishop Gorman was 43-0 in the games that Tate started. But there you see the running ability. And I know people keep saying, oh, well, that's Rutgers. Well, I get it. But at the same time, those type of skills are going to be impactful no matter who you play.
All right, let me say something here about those people saying that, oh, yeah, Tate looked good against Rutgers. What's the whole point, man, of looking at high school film then of these kids coming in? I mean, they're not playing to the competition, at the college football level, yet we get excited about what we see from them against high school competition. So those of you that are saying, oh, yeah, he looked good against Rutgers, yeah, okay, whatever. I've never understood that argument because all of these kids that we're going to see a lot more of them today and covering on the offensive side of the football, yeah, they're playing against high school kids. The majority of these high school kids are not anywhere near at the level that some of these recruits are. So they look good and people get excited about, the abilities of these high school kids coming in and looking good when you're watching their film. So you put weight on that, but you don't put weight on how Tate looks at, at a college football level and live game action because it was Rutgers. I've never understood that. It's a stupid argument in my opinion. It really is.
And by the way, how did Tate look in high school when he played St. Thomas and when he played the big time schools in California and in Texas?
Yeah.
There's a reason why he was 43-0. So
and you just brought that up. I'm just gonna say something very quick for those of you that don't know the stats of Tate in high school. He had 148 total touchdowns in high school, 35 of which were for rushing, and with only 9 interceptions. He threw for 7,507 yards, rushed for 2,294 yards, while completing, and he completed 60% of his passes, and he went what 43-0,
43-0,
three straight championships. So I mean,
three straight national championships at a school that never won one before and hasn't won one since.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the talent is there, man. I don't understand the hate on Tate. You know, people think that he shied away. He left because Justin Fields came in Ohio State. Man, he could have gone to any other school and just been handed a starting job. But no, he came to Miami, where he knew we had N'Kosi Perry, who was the front runner to start, frankly, this year because of his experience last year with the team and with Rick. He knew we had Jaron Williams, who a lot of people were excited about. Yeah, he still came in, man. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Miami and I'm gonna compete for the job and I'm gonna win the job. So those of you saying that he was shying away from competition at Ohio State, why did he come down here to Miami? It makes more sense if that was the case.
It doesn't. And if you take just Power 5 and Group of 5 schools, there is literally close to 50 teams that Tate could have gotten on campus and been handed the starting job.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know, so he came to a place that has not one, but 2 top 5 caliber guys in their respective classes.
Yeah.
So I don't buy this. He ran away from competition. We don't know what happened before. You have to remember, he was recruited by Urban Meyer.
Right.
Okay. Urban Meyer now retires. Ryan Day takes over, who was the offensive coordinator. We don't know what type of relationship Tate had with Day. We don't know the conversations that happened between them. What was it that made Tate say, oh, this is not for me? And let's remember something. There was a reason why Ohio State did not try to, with the NCAA, did not try to get Tate his waiver refused. There was a reason why Ohio State did not, they could have battled against that the waiver and they didn't.
Right.
So there was something going on there that they felt that, yeah, let's let him go and let's let him, play right away because of something that happened there internally. Right. So we don't know. But the thing is, like you said, your point is well taken, is if he wanted no competition, he would have gone a lot of other places other than Miami, where he could have just Florida State. There you go. That's a school just not that much farther away.
Right.
So he could have walked on at FSU because all he had back is Blackman and Hornibrook. And Hornibrook might have not even chose to transfer there if Tate would have gone there.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of other places that Tate could have gone where he did not have competition. So this whole shying away from competition, we don't know at all what happened behind the scenes.
Let's finish up on the clips, because I feel like we could hammer down this whole Tate argument like forever. So
yeah,
we saw go ahead.
On this third clip, one of the things that has been mentioned is that people saw him throw to his right. I want you to see what a beautiful throw to his left, throwing against his body, and not just the fact that he completed it. Look at the ball placement. Look at where he places this ball. And you want to go ahead and go to it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to it.
There you see, he's gonna roll out to his left, extends the play, and now watch. Look where he puts this ball. Yeah. And we're going to see the
dart.
It not only was a dart, he threw it in basically the only play. Look at that. Beautiful touch on it. Gets it right where it needs to be between 2 guys.
Yeah.
So the one thing, and this sort of ties in to the fourth clip that we're going to show. The one thing with Tate is when you look at his film, and it doesn't matter if it's high school or the little bit of college, there's a lot of beautiful highlights when he's on the move. From the pocket, that's not his strong suit. And Dan Enos does I think it's a brilliant way to coach, not just to coach, but it's a brilliant way to be a manager, to be a CEO of a company. Enos's focus and philosophy is he takes advantages of your strengths and tries to help you improve your weaknesses. And that's what he's done with Tate. We've seen him, he's working with Tate on his footwork when he's under center. He's making Tate be in the pocket a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean that when games come, if Tate happens to win the job, that doesn't mean that he's not going to take advantage of Tate's strengths. He'll probably have more shotgun if Tate was a starter.
Right.
He'd probably have more design quarterback runs. He'd have more RPOs. So he'll take advantage of Tate's strengths, but at the same time, especially in practices and drills, he's trying to improve his weaknesses.
Exactly.
Which I think is the way that you handle things as a coach or as a CEO. You want to take advantage of people's strengths while helping them improve their weaknesses.
Exactly.
So while at the quarterback competition for right now, Tate was running third, and there's no discussion, I think, on that. But at the same time, we will see going forward how, because we talked about it before, and Dan Enos, I think, just mentioned it about a week ago, that he said that when they reconvene, ideally, he wants to take the competition from 3 down to 2.
Right.
Okay, which is what we talked about from before. We said when they reconvene, one of these quarterbacks is going to eliminate themselves from competition, and that's going to be the quarterback who did not work as hard, who did not focus on the mechanics, on the drills that Coach Enos gives you, who didn't learn the offense completely, who didn't work with wide receivers on their own, or tight ends also on their own.
Right.
So one of these quarterbacks is going to eliminate themselves. Now, obviously, we have no idea which one of those 3 is going to be, but regardless, Enos is going to have a Tate package. Now, let's get to the 4th clip. And in the 4th clip, we're going to see some of the reasons why, as a passer, especially from the pocket, Nkosi and Jaron are at different levels than Tate.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. You're going to see here a bomb for a touchdown. And I know people always just focus on the result. Okay. He steps up, connects, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Now, this is my point on this. He had a completely clean pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. Which only happens about half the time in college football, that you have an actual clean pocket to throw from.
His wide receiver had like 5 steps on his man, so that's another
correct.
Thing. Right.
And it wasn't a perfect throw.
Right.
You know, it was a little bit behind him. It was a little bit underthrown. You see that from Tate, that sometimes from the pocket, especially on longer patterns, the accuracy and the arm strength isn't ideal, especially if you compare it to Nkosi and Jaron. You know, we're the best deep ball throwers in Nkosi. Jaron even has a superior arm strength than Tate does.
Right. And that's a point that, you know, that a lot of Canes fans make about, you know, the reason why they prefer Nkosi is because of our talent at wide receiver. I mean, they want to see the ball being thrown downfield, and they want to see shots taken downfield. So I understand that point. You know, Nkosi has the best arm out of the 3. Then I would probably put Jaron and then Tate. And Tate doesn't throw, you know, as good as a spiral as Nkosi and Jaron, which is another knock on him. I understand, but at the end of the day, he's dynamic, man. And the things that he did in high school, and he has something that Nkosi and Jaron don't when it comes to, you know, improvising if a play breaks down and stuff like that. So I mean, we'll see because his best game was the last spring game. So maybe, you know, we've yet to see exactly what Tate can do under Dan Enos, because Dan Enos is still, you know, evaluating and seeing, you know, the best position that he could put his quarterbacks in, because he has said it before. You know, it all depends on what quarterback is going to be. He's going to tailor his offense to that quarterback.
Correct.
And he said that. So he's not going to be like a stubborn Mark Richt where, no, this is the offense we're running no matter who comes in. No. He's going to, you know, if Jaron gets a starting role, he's going to tailor his offense to Jaron's, you know, best abilities. Same thing with Nkosi, same thing with Tate. So I feel like in the last spring game in Orlando, you know, we saw some of that. We saw Dan Enos, you know, trying to run an offense that tailors, you know, the best to Tate. And that's the reason why he succeeded. And that's the reason why he had the best day out of the 3 quarterbacks, in my opinion, on that day. So, I mean, we'll see. It all depends on, like you said, you know, who works the hardest, you know, who's going to have the best knowledge of the playbook, you know, who's going to be the captain, who's going to take the reins. And, I mean, we'll see. But I am excited about Enos in that aspect, that regardless of who it's going to be, he's going to tailor his offense to the abilities of that quarterback. And that's something that, I mean, you can't ask for that. You really can't.
You mean he's not going to run read options with Kaya?
No. No.
like they did. I remember when running an RPO with or read option with Kaya,
Yeah.
and we were going, man, he's no threat to run.
Yeah.
But he was a plus passer for sure.
Right.
So, but you're right. I mean, that's the thing. He is going to tailor. And I said regardless if it's Nkosi or Jaren is a starter, we will have a Tate package that will be, full of RPOs, of quarterback, of design quarterback runs, of things that Tate does very well. Right. We will have that package. We'll see it in the red zone. The problem when we talk about arm strength and people place so much emphasis, and now mind you, if you have a quarterback who can throw deep, it at least makes the defense have to cover a lot more territory.
Yeah.
Okay. We saw that with the Dolphins years ago. Chad Pennington, when we had that 11-5 season under Chad Pennington, and then we went to the playoffs, and the Baltimore Ravens basically said, okay, we're going to cover you 30 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
And we're going to suffocate you. See if you can throw it deep. And of course, Pennington couldn't. And we ended up, what I think it was the final was 20-0, or
I don't want to think about. I don't want.
Yeah, we got destroyed by the Ravens. But so you do need a quarterback that has a sufficient arm to get it deep, because you force the defense to have to respect that.
Right.
Okay. But here's the thing that I want people to understand: those deep shots that you're talking about, you take 4 or 5 a game, maybe at most.
Right.
Okay. You might throw the ball 35 times. So 85%, and I'm just picking that number out of the hat, but 85% more or less of your throws are going to be intermediate and short.
Right.
Okay. That's where I think that's one of the reasons why we both had Jaren as starting, because intermediate and short, there's no doubt who the best passer is, and that's Jaren Williams in terms of most consistent, most accurate, and throwing with the most touch.
Right.
Which
is a big knock on Nkosi. I mean, he has the best arm, but sometimes, he throws a slant, a 5 to 7 yard slant, and he's launching it like he's throwing a 30-yard bomb,
correct,
30-yard go route. So that's
correct.
something we've seen about Nkosi, though, where he lacks touch sometimes, and oh no, the receiver dropped the ball. Well, maybe if he didn't throw it 100 miles per hour on a 5-yard slant, maybe he would have came down with it. So
And the thing with Nkosi, what I've noticed is, because he does show beautiful touch on some throws, is the clean pocket. If Nkosi is not rushed, he can show, that touch.
Right.
The problem is when he's being rushed and his mind speeds up, his arm does the same.
Yeah.
And then he ends up throwing, like you said, not putting proper touch, bulleting a shorter throw, missing on a short to intermediate throw. Because his footwork, his platform's not right. So it seems like Nkosi, one of the things I know Coach Enos is working on is he's making his feet speed up, because the problem is when your brain speeds up because you're being pressured, if you don't speed up your feet, then your tendency is to overspeed your arm. Yeah. And that's when you throw balls with improper touch. Exactly. And that also ends up screwing up your accuracy.
Right. No, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We had to cover Tate, obviously, because he was a transfer, and he's one of the guys coming in with Surge 19. So let's talk about let's go ahead and swing it and talk about the other quarterback in his class, Peyton Matocha.
Yeah, with Matocha, and again, this is one of those situations that don't look at the stars. We talked about, I think we referenced in one of the other podcasts that right when Matocha, we were deciding, the Coach Enos and Manny were deciding between Matocha and Lance Lahindre, who ended up signing with Maryland. And we didn't understand how come Lahindre was ranked 6th as a dual threat, and Matocha was ranked 23rd. Actually, he was ranked 43rd at one point. Then they moved him up. For those of you that don't know, Matocha is from the Houston area, and apparently his junior season was, no pun intended, was a wash, because his family was impacted pretty badly by Hurricane Harvey, and he wasn't able to go to camps.
5 games that year.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to go to these camps. Fortunately, It wasn't, I mean, it wasn't a loss of life situation,
Mm-hmm.
but he was impacted severely. So he missed out on a lot of these camps where people could have seen. But this is a really talented guy. I think those rankings between Lahindre and Matocha should have been switched.
Yeah, let's look at the clips that we have from Atocha, so you guys can see a little bit of what we're talking about on why we're because I'm excited about Matocha. I think the whole Harvey thing had an impact on why he was rated so low.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Matocha. Okay, here you see rolling out to the left, beautiful throw behind his body, sees an open guy at the back of the end zone, rolls out to the left. Now again, look at this throw. Look where he places that ball.
I was in a small window too.
Tiny window. And now look at his running ability, his escape ability within the pocket. Now look at this touchdown run. I love to see this touchdown run. Get off of me.
Yeah, because he's big. He has size to him too. So that's something I've always liked in a quarterback. Good size.
He's 6'4", 200 pounds. I'm excited about Matocha. Some people thought he was just, we needed to sign a quarterback, so he was just that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Matocha was a genuine, should have been a 4-star. I think would have been a 4-star if it wasn't for that situation that happened his junior year.
Yeah.
Especially with quarterbacks. Do you have his stats there?
I got here. I think it's only fair to really talk about his senior season because that's the only season that he actually played a full season. He played 12 games that year. He threw for 3,697 yards, 35 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He rushed for, I believe, 787 yards and 14 touchdowns. So, that's 49 total touchdowns. Now, his completion percentage was 57%, which is something that I was kind of like, I'm not a big fan of quarterbacks that can't, throw at least 60% of their passes. So I don't know.
Well, but the problem also in high school, you see those throws where he's very accurate. He can be very, very accurate, has a strong enough arm. By the way, he had never high jumped before.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out for the high jump. They asked him to come out. He high jumps 6'9".
Yeah.
So he had high jump 6'9", won the state title in the high jump, and he had never done it before.
Right.
So that gives you an idea of what type of an athlete he is. Strong arm. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. I'll tell you what, I'm excited. I really am. I think that this is a young man that in a couple of years, obviously playing against, top level competition, couple of years of development. I think this is a starting caliber, I'll say an elite level talent at quarterback that if he gets developed properly, I'll tell you what.
You think he could be an elite? I don't see. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's an elite level talent. I mean, he's somebody that could be developed, into a very good quarterback, but elite, you're talking about the cream of the crop. So I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. Name me the boxes that you want to see checkmark in order for a quarterback to be elite. And this is the part that I didn't understand with Matocha. But I want you to, and I know you know it, but name me the boxes that you want to see checkmark.
To me, one of the most important things is accuracy, obviously, arm strength, and IQ.
Okay. He's a very smart kid.
No, he is.
He can be very accurate. And you saw that those throws rolling to your left to put him in tight windows, that's a hard throw to do against your body.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see that. I see plus arm strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see, and mind you, we'll talk about this in one of the future podcasts, Tyler Van Dyke, the quarterback that we signed now for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's elite level arm strength.
Right.
And Cozy is elite level arm strength.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying Peyton has that type of cannon, but he does have the arm strength that you need to make all the throws, like Jaron, for example.
Right.
Okay. So then you have elite level athleticism. He's 6'4", so you have elite level size.
Mm-hmm.
that's the aspect that I didn't understand of why Patocha. Now, mind you, the whole situation that happened with Hurricane Harvey explains why he was a 3-star, but he should have absolutely been a high 4-star because he does check mark all those boxes.
Yeah.
So I think his development with Coach Enos, I think we're going to see a quarterback that can develop. Now, I'm not saying he's going to for sure.
Yeah.
But he can develop to being an elite level college quarterback.
I don't know.
Obviously, we're going to see.
I will agree to this.
Time will tell.
The thing is with that, man, I just see the 57% completion percentage. I can't stand it. That's one of those things that irks me about quarterbacks, man. If you're not completing at least 60% of your passes,
But one example, I think in Cozy, his senior year. Now I'm going by memory, and we haven't checked this. You can look it up, but I think in Cozy, his senior year was around 57%, 58.
Yeah.
His junior year, he was better. He was actually, I think his junior year was at 64,
Okay.
but not a ton of throws because they didn't throw all that much where he played from.
Right.
But if you're in the high 50s in high school, and you played an offense that threw substantially downfield, or when you improvise like we saw with Matocha,
yeah,
high 50s I can live with because when you get a quarterback coach like Enos, he can help
up. Yeah, he could bump you up to be a low 60. Yeah, I could see it, but it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things that we'll see.
At the end of the day, I don't think whoever emerges from these 3 guys is probably going to be the starter for the next 3 years. Barring injury, of course.
Right.
So at least the next 2 years, let's say.
At least the next 2 years, right?
Correct. So I don't see Payton competing for the starter job before that, or winning the starter job before that. Maybe competing, but not winning. Yeah. So we'll see. I think Coach Enos, if he stays around, and hopefully he will, and not get a head job. But if Coach Enos stays around for quite a while, I think he can develop Matocha into something special.
All right, we'll see. So that wraps it up for the quarterbacks in this class. So let's talk about Asa Martin, who is the only running back that actually came in through a transfer. He didn't have much action at Auburn, but I do have here his he was the Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year, and in 2 years in high school he rushed for 4,355 yards and 53 touchdowns. He was the number 9 running back by 247 coming in. So I mean, I'm excited. He's not going to be playing this year, but he's somebody that could definitely be in the fold, next year. And I mean, the more depth you have at running back, the better. So let's go ahead and let's look at some of his clips here. And he's talented. I mean, when you consider the competition, Alabama has good competition in high school, and he was a Gatorade player of the year.
Look at that move. That was him from the Wildcat. Here you're going to see him breaking a run. Oh, look at that move. And then he has superior speed. He's listed at 5'11", 210.
Yeah.
You see him as a receiver. Beautiful. Touchdown. Now watch this. Watch this. Tremendous acceleration. And then he turned down the jets. If you look at that DB on the bottom of the screen was fast. Might have caught up to him.
He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get there. I'm not gonna get there."
Now look at this return of a punt. And there you see.
That guy looked like he had the angle on him, and he didn't have the angle on him.
Do you know what he seems to be? He seems to be one of these guys. If you ask him how fast he is, he goes, he's as fast as he needs to be.
Exactly. Yep.
He's 5'11", 210, runs with some power. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him 215, 220.
Yeah.
He's now, mind you, when you said he was number 9, I think that's right behind Cam Harris. Position.
Yeah, Harris was 8th.
Yeah. And Lorenzo Lingard obviously was the 5-star in that class. So,
and we see Harris. Harris looks like he's going to be, I mean, we'll see if he is a starter. But Harris has been one of those guys this spring that has impressed me the most for sure. So I mean, we'll see.
I think the way Harris looks I think he might end up being the guy who gets the most carries.
Yeah.
And obviously the unknown there is Lorenzo Lingard.
Zoe.
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
love me some of Zoe, man.
Yeah, hopefully. So, a lot of times when you have a major knee injury, now we have no confirmed reports, but it's my understanding that Zoe's injury was an MCL, not an ACL.
Right.
But usually when it's a major injury, it's not that first year back, it's the second year back that you're really back to 100%.
Mm-hmm.
With an MCL, he could be back to 100% this year.
Yeah.
So if Zoe is back to 100%, now we'll see who ends up with the most carries.
That'll throw a wrench in the in the plans on what's gonna happen, because Zoe has all the talent. But
and I know a lot of people are really high on Cam Harris, and I am too.
Yeah.
But it's almost like no, Cam Harris is the man. Well, yeah, he's earned it. He's earned it because he's reshaped his body some, and he looks faster, quicker.
Yeah.
But let's remember, there was a reason why Zoe was a 5-star.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Zoe was the Mr. Florida. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy who was a world-class hurdler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, notice what I said. I didn't say a state title hurdler. Zoe had actually aspirations of competing in the Olympics, possibly, as a hurdler.
Yeah.
That's what type of an athlete Zoe is.
Yeah.
So those that are, the flavor of the month is Cam Harris, who I love and I think is going to be a tremendous running back for us his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget Lorenzo Lingard.
Right.
There's a reason why Lingard was a 5-star, because when he turns on the Jets, that's a whole different turning on the Jets.
And think about this, taking it back to Asa. I mean, we see the talent that Asa has. We got Don Chaney coming next year, so you might be looking at. I think DJ, depending on the year he has, he'll probably go to the NFL. I mean, we'll see depending on the year he has. But then you're talking about Lorenzo Lingard, Cam Harris, Asa Martin, Don Chaney Jr.
Oh, and by the way, the other running back that I'm hoping we get in the 2020 class is Jalen Knighton from Deerfield Beach.
That's another one. We haven't got it's nothing solid there yet. I'm just we know Don Chaney for sure is coming, and we know Ace is going to be here, next year, and so is Harris and Zoe. So that running back room is going to be crowded.
Yeah,
talent.
And Ace, and I'll tell you, he has an ability that he could be a lead running back at any Power 5 school.
Yeah,
he has 1,000 yards a season type of ability. Now, whether because of that crowded running back room, there's only so many carries that go around.
Yeah.
But Dan Enos is a guy that people focus on the passing game. Look at Dan Enos at Arkansas. They ran the ball. Mm-hmm. Alex Collins, who's with the Ravens, he rushed for 1,500 yards at Arkansas under Dan Enos. So Enos is a firm believer in a strong running game. And obviously, I think Asa Martin by next year is going to factor into that rotation.
Yeah,
where he fits in that Zoe. I do what you do. I call him Zoe. Where he fits between Lingard and Harris, and then getting Chaney next year, and if we end up hopefully getting Knighton also, we'll see where he fits. But that's a guy who's a prime time. Could be 1,000 yards a season type of running back at a Power 5 school, is a guy who's going, barring injury, hopefully no more injuries for Asa Martin because he's injured now.
Yeah.
But hopefully no more injuries. That's an NFL caliber type of running back.
Absolutely.
Down the road. So we'll see with Asa Martin. Let's go to the wide receivers.
Yeah, because that's the only running back we got. So let's go ahead and go to the wide receivers. And I think we should start off with, not just, one of the biggest guys coming in, this class through the portal, but I think one of those guys is going to have, the biggest impact for this team across the board, not just for the wide receivers, man, but his leadership and what he's bringing to the table so far, man. I'm really excited for KJ Osborn. And let's look at some of his clips, and then we'll go ahead and talk about him some.
Right before we get to the clips, I do want to mention David Cooney deserves a ton of this credit.
Sure.
He was big in getting KJ here. He's the one that vetted KJ, and all those things that they were talking about before KJ got here, of leadership, of work ethic, of all these things. he's exceeded those expectations.
Yeah.
And he's brought guys along with him.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned when Manny did a really interesting thing for workouts. He made these teams of people, and they would compete against each other because even the workouts were going to be competitive. And KJ was the number one pick in the draft that they had for these teams. So it just shows that this young man, what he does. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to the tape of KJ. And we're going to see here. There you see him on a deep pattern, does a stiff arm, gets into the end zone. He's a lot faster. People give him credit for. Now, mind you, he's listed at 6 foot, 205 pounds. So he's a solid guy, but he also has some speed. And we saw it in that 80-yard touchdown. Now look at this move here.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, I know it's not necessarily against the greatest competition in the world when he played at Buffalo, but no focus on the competition. Look at him here returning a kickoff. And you see good acceleration, good moves. There you see, turns on the jets, and he's gone.
Well, I don't think a lot of people are gonna say, yeah, but it was against bad competition because you've seen what KJ has already done in spring.
There you go.
Yeah, so I don't think a lot of people are gonna talk bad about KJ.
I firmly believe that he's going to be our leader in receptions. I don't think he's going to be a leader in yards. I think Jeff Thomas is going to be a leader in yards, and probably one of the tight ends is going to lead in touchdowns. But I do think KJ is going to lead in receptions. He's going to lead in first downs because he's going to be that security blanket for whoever the quarterback is.
100%.
So I expect 50, 60 catches almost from, I'd say, let me not say 60, but I think he's definitely going to be within shouting distance of 50 catches for the team. So that basically sums up KJ. We've seen enough of him. Let's go ahead and move to Jeremiah Payton.
Okay.
You want to do that? Now, Payton was the highest ranked recruit in 2019 high school class, not the transfers, obviously, not including the transfers. But Payton is 6'1", 185, and we've already seen it so far this year. He was an early enrollee, and what you saw with Payton is no weaknesses in his game. He has good size because he's 6'1", 185, good speed. Okay, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he has plus level speed, and we saw that in the spring.
Yeah.
Tremendous route running, willing blocker downfield, great work ethic, good hands. There's not, and that's really rare that you see a guy coming out of high school at wide receiver that
doesn't have any holes in his game, frankly.
Correct. Right. You don't have a but.
Yeah, exactly.
But no. Everything that a wide receiver needs to do, Jeremiah Payton does at a very high level. And
what's really important that people have to take into account is, the injuries to Jeff Thomas and Hightower has opened up the door for Payton to get a lot of reps, in the spring. And I think that's just it's obviously gonna benefit him, going forward. The fact that, he came in and he's getting so many reps and he's getting so much action at wide receivers, because I don't think obviously he's going to be ahead of Hightower or, Jeff Thomas. But the fact that he's able to get those reps, he's able to get that kind of experience already, I think is going to be huge for him going forward and huge for our wide receiver room, man, because I'm really excited about Payton. Like you said, he doesn't have any holes in his game. He's looked great, in spring. So, I mean, he's one of those guys in this class that I'm really, really excited about.
And as an early enrollee freshman, he has forced the coaching staff's hand.
Yeah.
He was like, no, you got to get me on the field. And you know what? He's 100% right. He proved it. You have to get Jeremiah Payton on the field.
100%.
So let's go ahead and take a look at his at his film. And you're going to see here. Now watch. There you see, nice move, accelerates. Look at this catch. Lays out for the catch. Beautiful catch for a touchdown. Look at this. One-handed. And look at the moves. Look at the moves. And then turns it on. Touchdown.
Yeah.
He looked like he was a man playing with boys.
Yeah, he did.
Look at this.
That's my quarterback.
A Wildcat.
Wild, but yeah.
Look at this. Taking it to the hizzy. And now you're going to see it again. Takes the pattern, makes the guy fall down, breaks the tackle, touchdown.
Yeah, I'm excited about about Jeremiah, man. I'm
He
really excited about
almost, yeah.
Jeremiah.
You look at some of his high school film. He almost looked like like it was unfair to use him on the field.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think he was from Neptune Beach, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely, he shows why he was a number one high school recruit in terms of ranking. Just a talented guy, and like we talked about, no weaknesses in his game, and he's a guy that you have to get on the field,
Yeah.
and he's earned it. He's earned the right to get out there, and we have a pretty loaded receiver room. But you're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah ends up with 15, 20 catches.
Oh yeah, I think so for sure. He's gonna see some action for sure.
So that's basically it for Jeremiah. Now we're going to go to Larry Hodges,
Tight end.
the tight end. Strangest thing with Hodges is at one point everybody was calling him Hedges because instead of the O they had the E.
Right.
But apparently it is Hodges, so we're going to go with Hodges.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 235, very much an H-back. You're not looking at you're not looking at Will Marley type of tight end. You're looking at a Herndon type of tight end where he H-back. You could even use him some at fullback, that type of thing. He is a willing blocker, but he needs a year or two in the strength and conditioning program.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the film, and then we'll come back to him.
Yeah.
And you'll see why. This is from a camp, and you're going to see good moves for a guy that's big, is strong at the point of attack. Nice little one-handed catch there where he tipped it to himself. But you see there he does have to remake his body some in terms of being at a college level. Nice little move there. He'll get open. He'll body. He'll use his body to get the catches. Has impressive moves for a thick guy. Nice route. And you're going to see another nice route to the outside.
Yeah.
There's talent there. We are so loaded at the tight end position because now with the emergence of Michael Irvin Jr., we've seen really a three deep. But obviously the two top guys in Brevin and Mallory, 100. They're just those guys are NFL players and high pick NFL players.
Yeah.
So with Hodges, we'll see. We'll see. I think a year or two in the strength and conditioning program, he needs to definitely be an elite level blocker if he wants to get on the field a lot, because he isn't as dynamic in terms of talent. In order for him to get on the field, he's going to have to focus on being a great blocker.
Yeah.
Problem is, one of the commits that we have for 2020, Dominic Mammarelli, that kid is a supreme blocker already at high school, and he's going to be he's going to be another one of that long list of great tight ends at the University of Miami. So listen, I know he was only a 3-star, and it's not that I'm down on him. You guys know I don't care about star ratings, but it's one of those things, sort of like Cam Williams, where I have to reserve my judgment until I see what he looks like after a year or two in the strength and conditioning program. With David Feely working with him.
Yeah, I think we have a couple guys, and we're gonna cover them coming up now that we probably are gonna reserve judgment. We'll see. Some guys, I don't know, man, because you see guys, 5 stars, high 4 stars that come in and they look like they have all the talent in the world and they don't pan out, and then you see some guys that aren't necessarily, highly touted and stuff like that, and they overachieve. So, we'll see if Hodges could be one of those guys. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the tight ends. Who do we have coming up next? Well, that's it.
That's it for the skill positions.
Skill positions.
And now we're going to go to the positions I like the most, which I don't like them. I don't like that skill position.
The trenches.
The trenches. And let's go with a guy who I have a feeling is going to become he's not just, I know he's one of our favorites, but he's going to become a University of Miami fan favorite in Zion Nelson.
You talking about the 2-star?
Yeah, yeah, they had him. I think 247 Composite had him as a 3-star that we wrested away from Appalachian State. Uh, listen,
A
and
lot
I
of
know,
schools gonna regret not getting this
I
guy.
know, no, and I know that we harped on this point enough, but man, that's why you can't pay any attention to the star rankings. You really can't. Um, with Zion, obviously part of it was because first off, offensive linemen are really tough to project because offensive linemen, I mean, you can see a quarterback, you can see a defensive player where you can see abilities that doesn't matter the competition.
Mm-hmm.
You see Avery Huff, like when we talked about defense, breaking to the ball, doesn't matter who he was playing against. It was elite level explosion and suddenness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the better the competition, the more you can properly evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
But with offensive linemen, that's one of the reasons why it gets missed. You look at the top draft picks of offensive linemen in the NFL, rarely is it a 5-star guy. It's guys like Zion that were 3-star, and then all of a sudden they get in a strength and conditioning program, and the athleticism and the footwork and the technique takes them to being a first-round draft pick in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're not projecting that far out on Zion, but what I am projecting on Zion is that philosophy that is in vogue now and Butch Barry, our offensive line coach, is a big believer of get underweight, big athletic guys who are tremendous athletes for their size, underweight, and then build them up in the strength and conditioning program to that weight that they need to be. And with good weight,
we've seen it. We've seen that already with Zion because he came in at 240 and he's already at 271. So he's 6'5". Came in at 240, and yeah, I mean, Feely said it that he's one of those guys that has really been putting in the work in the weight room, and hey man, when you gain 31 pounds in that time span, I'm excited. Let's get to some of his video, and I just want everybody, while you're looking at some of these little highlights that we're gonna show you, this is at 240. Now, imagine at 270, 280, 285.
Maintaining the athleticism.
Maintaining the athleticism, which I think he has a frame for it. So I think he will. I'm really excited about it. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Let's look at this. There you see him shadowed. Now, you feel bad for 16. You saw that punch. You want to talk about a punch? It was a two-handed punch, and the guy landed about 5 yards over.
Yeah.
Now you're going to see Zion get to the second level. Number 2, yeah, there's the ground, buddy.
Feel bad for you, buddy.
He's just something else. You're going to see here. Now watch, he gets out to the second level, and I have a feeling somebody's going to end up on the ground. There you go. And this,
guys, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. We're getting this footage from Huddle. I encourage you guys to go check out his entire highlight tape, on Huddle, and you're going to see the majority of the blocks, man. Just people ending up on their backs. He's one of those guys that, when he puts his hands on you, you're more than likely gonna feel the floor. And that's what I see with Zion, and that's why I look at his tape and I get excited, man. I get really excited. Go check out the entirety of his tape on Huddle. He's one of those guys, man, that he could be, our starting left tackle for years to come. I mean, we'll see, whether it's Scaife, whether it's Nelson. I mean, we'll see how that shapes up. But considering the amount of weight he's put on already, and his ability there, that you saw some of his ability, and athletic ability and power. And I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'll tell you what, I was watching the entirety of the highlight tape, and I was just like, whoa. Go check it out, man.
You look at and this is something that it doesn't matter the competition. Look at his footwork, tremendous athleticism, tremendous balance. Because a lot of times, what do you see offensive linemen when they try to get a guy down on the ground? What happens? Offensive linemen they're off balance, and they end up on the ground.
Exactly.
And then, type of thing. You don't see that with Zion. you see the footwork, you see athleticism, you see strength at the point of attack. And like you said, he reported at 242, and he's at 271.
Yeah.
So with Zion, you see exactly why you recruit underweight, big guys who are underweight but extremely athletic, because you could turn them into something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Zion will be the starter at left tackle, and I think Zion will be the starter at left tackle for as long as he's at University of Miami, obviously barring injury. I think we have a gem at left tackle.
I agree 100%. So
yeah,
we're both obviously excited about Zion, and like I said, guys, go check out all of his tape. This next guy that we're gonna get to has underperformed, I think, to say the least. We'll see what happens. Tommy Kennedy, we brought him in, and thinking that he was gonna be a plug and play guy. It's not necessarily looking like that.
It's not only right now even though they might have him listed as a second team offensive center, as a center, he's actually third team, because we saw when Corey Gaynor got banged up, they moved Devon Donaldson into the center, who had never played center before, just not to play Tommy Kennedy on the first team.
Right.
So listen, it's at the end of the day, he's a young man, and you want to, one of the things that sort of makes me feel uncomfortable when I see a lot of our youth fam, and I understand, guys, I do. It's frustrating when you see a workout warrior like Robert Knowles, and when he gets on the field, he doesn't perform the way you'd hope. But at the same time, they're young men, and let's remember that. I'm sure Robert Knowles, he'd like to be an All-American safety, and the fact that he is a workout warrior shows how hard he works.
Yeah.
So the same now with Tommy Kennedy, frankly, I don't see how hard he works, because you look at his body, there's a lot of bad weight there. I mean, he's listed at 6'4", 285, might be heavier than that 285, but they say that muscle weighs a lot more, or weighs more than fat. I don't know what Tommy Kennedy's body fat percentage is, but when you look at him, there's a lot of bad weight there.
Yeah.
And I wish my view on Tommy Kennedy would be different if he was a freshman.
Right.
And we're getting him as a freshman, I'd be like, that's fine. Give him a couple of years in the strength and conditioning program, and the kid could be a baller, because he is athletic. He does have good feet. There's some raw material there, but he is overmatched. He does not have the strength to play at our level, especially against our defensive front. Our front seven is elite.
So yeah.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at his film, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Here we go. Now you're going to see him at the now some of this film. He's actually on the left. We don't have him. They don't mark him so you can see, but you'll see some of the blocks. In case you didn't know, he's right there, number 74, I believe.
Yeah,
he's number 74. And and you'll see, you see some aggressiveness, you do see some athletic ability, you do see some good technique, but the problem is at the point of attack, the strength, not real sure that it's going to be. The problem is he's a senior. So if you get somebody who's developmental, and how can you get somebody who's developmental who's a senior?
That's the thing, man. You would expect more from a senior. I don't want to bash the kid, like you said, man. But yeah, he's been getting bullied. Frankly, he's been getting bullied, and hopefully he's busting his butt in the summer program, and maybe he comes back better. Who knows? But so far, I don't see it.
Ideally, if he can develop even to a backup tackle. The problem is the way he was sold by the prior coaching staff to us was he was a left tackle who was going to play 1 year at Miami to raise his NFL stock.
Yeah.
That's the way he was sold to us.
No.
So what are we expecting? We're expecting a guy who's on his way to the league.
A plug and play dude. Like
Correct.
we resolved our, our left tackle issue. That's it. We have a left tackle next year. Boom, it's done. Man, that's
Correct.
not what we've seen.
Correct.
That's not what we've seen.
And I'll tell you why all these, why a lot of people like, talking about what they said back then. I'd like to see anybody in this world who said Zion Nelson would be our left tackle before Tommy Kennedy would.
Mm-hmm.
I think our friend from Botswana, who actually won a bet,
Big
the
Zion
only guy.
Nelson fan. Yeah, big Zion. Yep.
I think he's the only one that actually might have said that Zion would start and Tommy Kennedy would not.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man, for sure.
Yeah, Martin.
It looks like it.
You're gonna win that bet. But that's the thing with Tommy Kennedy. Listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. Everybody that you pick isn't going to be a pro.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on from Kennedy. I'm kind of starting to feel bad, but let's talk about Ja'Kai Clark.
Now, for those Ja'Kai is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Because I was going to go ahead and I got some things to say about Ja'Kai. But I'll go ahead and let you kick that one off.
Okay, he's 6'3", 305, good size. He actually, if you look at him, he's obviously a high school kid who's 6'3", 305. He's going to have some bad weight, but he doesn't have as much bad weight. Well, to give you an example, I think Tommy Kennedy has more bad weight than he does. Ja'Kai, I'll tell you what, Ja'Kai's strong. If you look at him, he's going to reshape his body. He's probably going to end up back at 305 at some point, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him drop to like 290 and then build back up to 305 type of thing.
That would be nice. I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. Yeah, you do see bad weight. I mean, obviously, like you said, for kids to be that heavy at such an early age, I mean, there's going to be some bad weight there, but he's a monster. I mean, he's a big dude. Now, the only thing I will say about Ja'Kai is, and we're gonna see some of it in the footage here. I mean, for that kind of size and that kind of weight, you didn't see too many guys, laid out pancaked on their back. So I mean, he is a center, so it's a different position. So you can't really compare to a Zion and stuff like that. So, but I mean, I guess the potential is there, but I would like to see, like you said, him come in, lose some of that bad weight and see how he builds that back up. Because if he has some muscle, man, he's a big presence. Now we do have a Gainer, so if Gainer's healthy, I don't see Ja'Kai getting much time. Frankly, most likely redshirting. But if he could turn into like we said, and do some of those things that we talked about, gaining that good weight, losing some of that bad weight, maybe we could plug him in at center, in the future. But yeah, he's one of those guys. You want to go ahead and look at the clips?
Yeah. Before we do, my highest hope for Ja'Kai is that he develops enough this year where if something happens to Gainer, he could be our backup center if Tommy Kennedy is not. So just because, now mind you, in a perfect world, we would redshirt him.
Yeah. And
then we see, because Gainer's a redshirt sophomore. So Gainer still has, 2-3 years, obviously at least 2, right. At least 1, I guess. But he could be here another 3 years.
Right.
So Ja'Kai, I think, could be starter level. You'll see in the film, the one thing I would have liked to see is him being more of a bully. He played at Grayson, which is a big time program in Georgia. But you don't, you see at the point of attack, you don't see a guy that you expect to see when you see 6'3", 305 is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at the film.
Let's go ahead and look at the film, guys. But the films are, when we're trying to break down this film for you guys, we're obviously showing only a little bit, but we try to get the portions of the video that shows the most of the things that we're trying to cover. So But for you guys to see the entirety, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you guys just think that we're trying to get the best, little clips here and there, and that's not really what the player looks like. I encourage you guys just to go to Huddle, check out the full video, and then you'll see that, what we're showing is basically, what hopefully I would think that you would see as well.
It's a representative sample of what we're trying to show. Now let's go ahead and go to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see here, Jakai is right there. I believe that's number 65. You see
number
55. 55. Now you see he does stick with the block.
Yeah.
And he does get the guy out of the play, but he doesn't lay him out. Like you would think, well, he has a big size advantage there. Now you see him here. He is tenacious there. And he does stay there and stay with the block.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely some ability there. There's some size there. He carries the weight. Put it this way. I'll say this, which is probably the most positive thing I can say. For 6'3", 305, he carries the weight a lot better than what you would expect.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think so. I would agree with that.
So we'll see. Jakai wasn't a highly rated guy either, although he did, I think he had an early commitment to Auburn, and then he committed to Illinois, and then we got up to flip to us. So we'll 6'3", 305. We'll see what he develops. In an ideal world, I do think he's going to be forced into a backup center situation, and hopefully he could play that in case something happens to Gaynor. We can leave Donaldson alone finally, because Donaldson was freshman All-American at right guard. We try to move him to right tackle his second year. Then we move him back to right guard when that doesn't work out, and now he's at left guard.
Yeah.
Let's just leave him alone at left guard, and Gaynor will be our center, and hopefully Jakai will be good enough, either him or Tommy Kennedy, to be the backup center.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to our last one, Adam El-Gamal. For those of you that don't know,
technically not our last one on in the trenches.
Isn't that the last? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. We have one more after that. We have our punter, our incredible punter, Mr. Hedley.
The punter, that guy.
Yeah. The now El-Gamal is 6'7", 275. Tremendous basketball player. He was at Christ the King. He was a teammate of Jared Harrison Hunt.
Part of the New York connection, baby.
Right. But my New York connection is always Blissett and Harrison Hunt.
I know.
But El-Gamal is a really intriguing player. Again, in the same mold. Underweight. It's hard to say somebody's underweight when they're 275, but he's 6'7".
Right, exactly.
Yeah. He's 6'7", tremendous feet, really good athleticism, primetime basketball player. Christ the King, the school that they go, that him and Harrison Hunt are from, and Harrison Hunt was a teammate of his, not just football, but basketball also. That's Christ the King is a really well-known basketball school.
Yeah.
In terms of they've produced a lot of Division I players for basketball. So the fact that El-Gamal was a basketball player and a stud basketball player for them shows his athleticism, good footwork, good strength. For a guy that's 6'7", 275. I think, I wish he would have been an early enrollee, because I'd like to see what Butch Berry is going to do with him. Yeah. Chances are you're looking at a guy who's probably going to redshirt. By next year, hopefully he's at 305, 310 on that 6'7" frame. And we'll see what he turns into. But a lot of potential there. And I like our offensive line coach, Butch Berry, to turn that potential into production.
Yeah, for sure.
So you want to go ahead and let's take a look at him.
Let's take a look at some of his plays.
And there you see he's at right tackle. You can see how tall he is. Sticks with the block. Good at the point of attack.
Boy.
Yeah. He ended up put him on the ground and stood over him, which is shows some nastiness.
Yeah. You see another one there.
There you go.
I like it when their backs are on the ground, man.
This one is the one I love. He blocks the guy to the point you can't see him on the camera anymore.
Yep. He probably just walked him over to the bench and like, dude, just sit down, man. Like,
I actually think
get through here.
They might have ended up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And listen, that's another guy. I wonder if he was an early enrollee, where he would be in this mix. I do. I wonder. Now, mind you, chances are I do think he needs he's going to redshirt, and he's going to need a year in the strength and conditioning program, at least, maybe 2, because he is a little raw in terms of technique wise. So
yeah, but that's why we got. I mean, Barry brings that. He'll learn that technique, and what I like about Gamal is that obviously he was a basketball player. You know, if you look at some of his basketball highlights, he's agile. You know, he has quick feet, which is something you want in an offensive lineman, and he has the size, man. He's 6'7", long arms. So when you put together, you know, quick feet, athletic ability, you know, size. I mean, Gamal could really turn into something. Really turn into something.
Absolutely. And if I was evaluating him as a basketball player, the thing that impressed me the most of him as a basketball player are his feet.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Are his feet. Beautiful footwork. Just really smooth footwork for a 6'7" high school kid. And
but it's not just being 6'7". It's being what 285.
275 was where I had him listed at. You might have had him. You have him heavier?
275. You're right. 275. So, I mean, you know, a guy that's 25 pounds away from 300 pounds, and he's moving out, and he's agile out there, and he has the quick feet. So yeah, he could definitely turn into something. I like Adam a lot. I really do.
And that's the part of putting on good weight, you know, that because you say to yourself, well, we get him up to 300, 305, 310. He can maintain that footwork, maintain that athleticism, and then have the technique to go along with it, and you have yourself a special player.
Exactly, 100%. So we'll see. That wraps it up for the trenches. The last player coming in, which I think I can speak for Canes fam out there. We got a punter. Because punting was one of those things, you know, last year that we had a lot of trouble with, man. And frankly, you know, hopefully Hedley could solve that problems, and the attitude's there, the look is there. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You have him 6'4", 235. Which of course in a punter's not all that, but mind you, he did play rugby and played Australian rules football, so he has some athleticism. So if we ever do a fake punt, he's a guy that can run, and he can do that Aussie style kicks, you know, the rugby style kicks where you run, you know, to if they're not putting a pressure on you, you can run and then, you know, low kick it where it bounces, which we started doing towards the end of last year. Because we had no other choice.
Exactly.
But Lewis Hedley can do that. So let's go ahead and just show the people the punts.
Yeah.
So they can see he does have a very strong leg. Here you go. And I like the height he gets on these punts. Look at the hang time.
Yeah.
46 yards, 4.8. Listen, if you get anywhere near 5 seconds on hang time,
you're good. You're in the game.
You're doing fantastic. There you go. 60 yards, 5.1. If you guys haven't watched Aussie Rules football, it's one of my favorite sports. And you see big athletic guys with a lot of kicking ability.
That last one has some really good hang time. Look at that. I had a 5-second hang time on that one. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Hedley, man. I would definitely choose him to walk out for the coin toss. If I had to pick one guy, because he looks like he could scrap. But
you know what I do?
He might have that persona, but he's a really cool dude, and he's even, you know, talked about it. You know, if you guys have seen him talk and seen him like in interviews, you know, don't judge a book by its cover necessarily, because he looks like a mean, you know, I'm gonna mess you up, you know, type of dude. But he's a really nice guy, and he's somebody that I'm really excited about, you know, coming in. We needed a punter, and I think he has the talent, you know, to be a really good one for this team.
Well, and he's like 25, either 25 or 26 years old, even though he looks older.
Yeah.
But the really interesting life, he actually owned the reason why he ended up all tatted up is he owned a tattoo shop in Bali.
Right.
And then he actually worked in the Australian outback doing scaffolding I mean, this guy's just lived an interesting life.
Yeah.
Some of the videos with his little boy are awesome videos. He does look like a nice dude, and we have fun, at how tough and mean he looks.
Yeah.
But he does seem like a nice dude, and he did say, I think, that bothered him a little bit, that people see the look, and he's not that type of guy. He's a family
Don't
guy.
get mad at us, man. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't want you to get offended. You know what I'm saying?
That's
hey, you're a good dude. Matter of fact, you don't even look tough, man. You don't even look tough. All right.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that either, dude. You don't want to make him act like show you why he is tough.
Hedley, we're excited to have you on the University of Miami.
Yeah, I think. And by the way, he actually, even though he was a junior college transfer, he sat out last season, so he still has 3 years of eligibility. Left. So because you normally, when you get a junior college transfer, they only have 2 years left. Lewis Hedley actually has all 3. So, and he had just learned. Australia has, and that's where the clip that we showed you, that's where it's from. They have this thing called Pro Kick Australia, which is getting these guys that used to be Australian rules football players,
right,
and turning him to punters, and they have been huge. You saw in the NFL a bunch of guys that they're Australians that came over to punt. So I think we got our punting situation solved. A guy who's going to kick for a good average, even though his stats at San Francisco, at the College of San Francisco where he was at, aren't all that impressive. Remember, that was like
he averaged 38.6 yards, a long of 59. He had 8 punts inside the 20, 7 fair caught in 10 games, and then he ran 3 times on fake punts for 75 yards and a long of 56. So
yeah, but that was because nobody tried to tackle him.
No, of course not.
They always say, "Hi, Mr. Hedley," and they just let him run.
Right, exactly.
No, but he is. I think that was just when he was at the beginning of starting to kick. This is a guy who I expect is going to average well into the 40s per punt with tremendous placement. I saw him do that. There was like punt after punt that he was putting inside the 10-yard line. And so I think this guy's going to develop into a very good one. And at least we got a punter now. So
yeah, for real, we'll see. So yeah, that basically wraps it up in its entirety for Surge 19. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see. Hopefully, some of these players, live up to the potential, and hopefully some of them, go past that and overachieve. Because some of the guys we feel like might need to overachieve to really get some legitimate playing time for us. But I'm excited about this class. We're gonna be covering the recruiting classes, obviously 2020 and the ones that are to come in the future. But yeah, we felt like we had to break down. A lot of these guys haven't even gotten here yet, so we felt like we had to basically break them down and cover them to basically introduce them to you guys if you haven't if you don't know the details about every single one of them. And we did it with video for the first time, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. What you got to say, big dog?
We're going to here probably in our next one. We're going to look at the Dolphin draft. Maybe talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs, but mostly it's going to be a Dolphin draft. And basically, if we have any hurricane news, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And also, if you can, let your friends know, and
share it, guys.
Correct, and give us some comments, guys. Yes, please. We never mentioned share. Yeah. So besides like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, share if you can, and leave us some feedback. Let us know things you want to see, or things that you think. Obviously, there's plenty of room for improvement on our end. So you let us know whatever it is that you think would help us be better. And thank you again for all the support. Yeah. And we'll keep bringing you that content at the very least on a weekly basis.
Yeah, for sure. We're not gonna disappear, guys. We're gonna keep on. It's kind of a dead period right now with the Canes. But there's always gonna be news popping up. News about maybe landing some more recruits in 2020. So that's something that we might, attack. Who knows? But like my dad said, We're going to be talking about the Dolphins. You have something to say?
Yeah. And we are going to do shows on the 2020 recruiting class, the people that we already have committed, the ones that we're chasing, the ones that we have a good shot for, and give you as much inside recruiting news, because we do have some inside recruiting news to give you. So we'll handle quite a bit of that also. So, and that's going to be in one of the upcoming podcasts. So that's basically what I want to say. Go ahead and what you were saying.
No, that's it. I think we're good, man.
There we go.
Let's go ahead and sign off with that, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, throw it up. It's all about the you.
It's all about the you.
Yeah, baby. See you guys on the next one.
Ryan Little. Yoga.